Hello. This is my first video of what I believe is going to be probably a series. These recordings are an attempt for me to voice the thoughts that run through my head constantly. Also, it is a platform where I can explore complex emotion, sensations. I am an INF. I have done the Myers-Briggs test, and I test as an INFJ. Sometimes I test as an INTJ when I am highly stressed. But I've got enough sort of evidence that confirms I am pretty much an INFJ by the book. So I am assuming that some of you are here because you identify with the INFJ personality type, or you want to know more about this personality type. I am a researcher in psychology, so a lot of these sorts of topics have a research-based approach, and also a lot of personal experiences. I'm using a costume. Well, it's not a costume. I traveled to Iran a few years back, and I fell in love with the way that they use their fashion. It's not this conservative, this is just me. I think a lot of INFJs may experience situations in their lives where they can't really express their true fears or their true feelings and thoughts because of judgment, or being afraid that we won't be understood, or that people won't want to understand us, or even have the capacity to understand us. So I'm using this so I can be anonymous, and so that I can be free from my name, my history, my own religious trainings, my roles, my profession. So it's a space primarily for me. These videos are going to be 100% about me. I'm not here to try and teach anything to anyone. I just need a space where I can truly explore the limits of my personality, the limits of my history, the limits of my emotions and sensations, and also their strengths. And I really don't have a place like that. I'm only coming to the conclusion that I have actually cultivated a community that adores me and that I adore, but they actually don't really know me. And that probably has a lot to do with the fact that I had not really known me. And I am still an enigma to me. And but I know I this chameleon trait that I think a lot of us have really holds me often a slave to these magnificent personalities that I can play in the outer world: charismatic, or leader, empathetic, wise, counselor, even party, social butterfly. Of late, I've integrated a lot of some of my innate characteristics or traits or behaviors that I probably had repressed for a long time. So things like being vulnerable and slow, and I struggle with very low energy, and I've noticed that as I'm trying to show the world a little bit more of who I am, as I begin to embrace some of the spectrum of what makes me, or the spectrum of personalities that I not personalities, behaviors that I have access to. I'm noticing that I'm not really being the complete me in my community, even in my family. So I've not created really spaces where I feel heard, mostly maybe because I actually haven't cultivated friendships with individuals that have the capacity to truly hear, or that have a desire to truly understand. I don't say that in a judgmental way. I say that from a very sort of human way. I don't know if you as an INFJ have noticed, or as a human have noticed, the people are not really here. We're not really here all the time. We're usually stuck in some conflict, or in some pain, or in some emotion, trapped in some historic trauma, and we're not often here. So I'm here now, and I love that these platforms, YouTube, I guess, which is where eventually I hope to put this video, mostly for the freedom to really be vulnerable and authentic, which I know is a contradiction considering I'm here masked before you. I've really enjoyed watching some of the INFJ videos from others like us, and I know some of you hide as well. There was one lady I heard who was discussing perfectionism, and she just filmed the river in front of her while she was sharing her experience that morning, and that was kind of the final encouragement for me to do this. I think it's necessary, and I think maybe more of us will continue. There's not many of us, statistically speaking, so I think we could draw a lot from these. I think I'm going to call it INFJ diaries or INFJ secrets. I don't know yet. Nevertheless, there's a million thoughts going through my head, as you can probably imagine. I am nervous, and I am excited, and I'm really hot under this scarf. but I'm going to share what's current, and then I'll see how long that takes. I don't want to bore you either. I am mostly using these journal entries, these digital journal entries, to keep a history of me as well. I mean, I am currently devoting all of my strength and desire and passion and intelligence, emotional and intellectual, all of my education, my training, my history, even my suffering and my deep joy is currently, there's a storm here, a tropical storm. I'm in a tropical area. I am putting all of those things into 3 things this year, 2018. One is my very first attempt at designing a project that feels true to me and what I believe possible in my life and in the life of my community. I am not a business person. I'm trained in psychology. I am an idealist to the T, and I really struggle with deadlines and structures, like and hierarchies and those sorts of things. But I believe that we're moving into an age where a lot of the empathic beings of Earth are being sort of drawn and called to construct new models of business. My model, I've done plenty of research, and it's really difficult. No, I'm not going to say difficult. It has been limiting to access current templates, because I don't think many of us have been strong enough to develop our own structures. I know you've seen them in your mind. I know you see the solutions to so many of society's limitations. I know you see them, and I'm sharing this with you because I know we share the same functions. So it's not your fault that you see the conflicts and the problem and you live the pain. It's not your fault. It's literally what your brain looks like it was designed neurobiologically to do. However, you also have this incredible left brain that provides you an order and a rhythm and a pulse that could be really successful, efficient, sustainable. Just seeing if anyone's coming home. And so many of INFJs, so many sensitive humans today, sensitive beings like us, really struggle with negative thoughts, negative emotions and negative sensations. But what happens is, sorry my neck, once I began to really, through the practice of mindfulness, which officially began in 2013, and my research on the theme began in 2003. It took a long time to get there, but if you're INFJ and you're not mindfully meditating, holy shit, get onto that now, every single day, now, okay? So what happens is mindfulness teaches the psyche to hold a thought and be with a thought, an emotion or a sensation, and not become the totality of that thought, that sensation, or that emotion. So then what happened to me was, once I wasn't consumed by these thoughts, emotions and sensations, my mind was just experienced really high levels of clarity and direction. And the only limiting thing with that is that I could see the conflict, I could see the solution, but I had terribly low energy levels that I thought were related to my to a chronic illness that I suffer with, that my doctor diagnosed. But I am now curiously exploring the notion that my energy levels may have a lot more to do with what inspires me and what doesn't, in the unseen world of energy collaboration, right? I don't really, not in a spiritual sense. I know that there's a lot of, I wish I had the mind that would just allow me to just go to the chakras and the what do you got, the I don't know, all those topics, but I don't, so I don't have that place to sort of settle on. However, there is an unseen, there are unseen forces. We've got, at least unseen to the naked eye, but we've got measuring tools now that can measure the impact of light or warmth, and the way that we perceive somebody else's behavior impacts our energy levels, our adrenaline, our cortisol, our endorphins, our dopamine, our serotonin. So we've got evidence for all of this. And I am noticing, as I am listening to the pulse of my direction, that some things really ignite me. Like this right now, this discussion right now, I'm ignited. So this is a direction that I'm going to continue taking. And that's kind of how I had to begin making decisions, because intellectually I sort of stopped functioning in society. I had a really tough time because something quite terrible happened a few years ago that really left me in a beautifully dark place. And I'm only just sort of stepping out of that current situation. And but I get to bring all the wisdom with me, and all the experience that's very deep in my heart. Someone I absolutely love and adore, that was very close to me, passed away in a really horrible way. So I was left to reflect on a lot of things. But anyway, I'm sure I'll talk more about how those things impact me. But today I wanted to talk about how I'm exploring the way that my energy levels, literally my capacity to focus and be proactive and efficient and achieve objectives, is really determined by how much the situation is inspiring me. And then there are certain things within this current area, which is my project that I'm working on. There are certain things that just bring me no energy at all, and I'm just riddled with exhaustion, and so that's when I let go. So obviously this is proving to be a really slow moving journey, and I'm okay with that. I'm in a privileged place where I don't have to be meeting financial deadlines. Well, at least not serious ones. It's really on earth everybody's got financial deadlines. But I'm much more interested in seeing a long-lasting result. I am 100% committed to this project. There is nothing that excites me more than what I see in my mind with this project. It's very simple. Maybe I'll share its structure with you further down the line. But I don't know if any of that made much sense. I could literally talk for hours, and I don't really want to do that today. But anyway, this was my first attempt at sharing what this digital journal entries are for. They're for me, primarily. I don't really believe that there are others. I really don't believe that. I believe me and you are the same thing. We just get to experience it through different names, different genders and different ages, different culture, different country. And thank you if you're here, and if you're not, I know I'm here, and I'm committed to reflecting more, getting to know you, getting to know me through these journal entries. I'm not going to complain about others not listening. I'm not going to complain about why the world doesn't know how to be present, why the people I love are stuck in subconscious conflicts that just recreate more pain. I'm not going to continue complaining, because the truth is that if I am not here for me, then no one can be there for me, and vice versa. If I am not here for me, then I cannot be there for anybody. And that's what these entries are about. I'm 36 years old, and I've discovered something beautiful, and it came after a real death, like an internal dying. And as painful as the experience was, I knew that it was going to transform me and revolutionize me, and it has. And I feel ready to speak in an unmasked way. I know I crave, the thing I crave most in my life is authentic connection. But I've noticed that I am the least authentic of everyone. No one else really ever truly gets to see my thoughts or my feelings or my experience, and I'm so I've sheltered people that adore me from that, because I feel like it's a burden, or they don't know how to, or that they will judge my experience in a way that I'm not comfortable with. So I'm really committed to laying down that mask by putting on this one with you today. So I think that's the name. I think it's going to be the digital journal entries of a modern day INFJ. I think that's the name. Alright. I'm alone. I'm I'm going to try and do these videos as often as I need them. No pressure to stay and no pressure to listen. This is a really intimate space for me and myself. I've stopped being bitching about how nobody knows how to listen. I'm going to practice all the things I teach with myself. So if you're here, welcome. I will be sharing again soon. Take care and thank you for your time. And future you, which is I'm talking to me right now, because I'll get to watch these videos when I'm on the other side of whatever this is. So I'm talking to you right now. I'm really excited. I really am excited, and I'm full of commitment. And thank you I hope you enjoy what I'm going to create. I hope you get to live the life that I am seeing in my eyes now, and I hope that you value it. And I'm sure you're going to find a way to criticize it and find its loopholes, but please know that I worked really hard to get here today, and you know how far we are right now with everything. And I hope you can look back at me now and have compassion for my ignorance and my tenacity and maturity. Thank you for... I'm not really sure who you're going to be in the future, but I'm definitely excited to meet you there. Take care.